family, your friends, and community here to celebrate this wonderful, wonderful place. And we want to take this opportunity to say congratulations and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be a partner of this wonderful, wonderful park. And Mr. Broadbent, thank you so, so much. You know, as we look at our city, and our city is diversifying and changing rapidly, and it's amazing to be able to see the thousands of the people that are calling Oshawa home and starting to move to our great community. And what brings me great joy is, as I look over the Human Rights Garden, not only what represents Mr. Broadbent and his years of service, but also the conversations and how it will welcome our new residents in our community. It also reminds all of us of our own rich heritage and our history and our past and our present, and it will create conversations that will truly be able to bring us together. I always speak that this moment in time in the history of Canada, the province of Ontario, is one of the most important times not to divide us but to bring us together. And I can't think of a better place than to bring our community together to have those conversations, to be able to show that we share our history, but we share our future together. This is a place that will hopefully be able to educate, inform. It will create moments of long friendships. It'll be a place of matrimony, where marriages will happen, where concerts will be played, and where people and children will be able to learn about their great city and about their great nation. I am just thrilled today to be able to say that I am so grateful to our team that pulled this together. I also want to say thank you very much to HOPA for their support in regards to this particular project. And I want to say thank you to everyone that contributed to it. On behalf of 188,000 people, I am so proud that you were able to join us today. And I'd like to take one moment just to be able to say thank you to my team that made this happen today, along with our communications team headed up by Shannon McFadden. Of course, my EA is Miss Leah, and my Chief of Staff, Mr. Mark Orton. And I want to say a very special thank you to them. So thank you. God bless and have a great day, everybody.
My personal history with Ed Broadbent goes back to 1974. I was a 50-year-old kid working on Ed's campaign. Fortunately, I didn't hurt it too much because he won and he continued to represent our community. And I can tell you one of the key people that got me involved in politics beyond Ed is also here today, and I want to recognize him in my comments, and that's former City and Regional Councillor Nestor Pidovecki. You know, it is easy to name parks after people who have contributed so much as Ed has done into our community. Even though this is a wonderful recognition, it is basically this community saying thank you. His contributions to our community, to our country, and to human rights, I believe are unparalleled in either Oshawa's history, but in our country's history. Ed became an advocate for human rights early on, and I can tell you that back then it wasn't always the most popular step to take. But Ed was active and unstoppable when it came to advocating for human rights in Canada and beyond our shores. He was recognized worldwide for his contribution. And that's why I think it's a very key part of our community to have the Garden of Human Rights located at the Broadbent Waterfront Park. And all I can say to Ed, for all you've done, Ed, for the legacy you've left for us, on behalf of our community, thank you, and we'll try to keep this park strong and well looked after. Thank you.
You know, for decades, members of council have had a vision of getting a waterfront that's people-friendly. Well, it's finally arrived. People didn't believe that this was the parking lot, the overflow parking lot for Lakeview Park. Now it's its own unique park, and it's a different tenor. Here is a more passive, more serene, contemplative place. And I think the results speak for themselves. This place is beautiful. So to all who came before us and for the current council, thank you so much for doing this. You know, but when you build the perfect park, there's always a few things we forget. Brian mentioned one. Number two, we need a few more receptacles around here. And I'm sure I put in the word to staff, we're gonna get some garbage receptacles around here because we don't wanna litter our place. But just to say thank you, we finally work with the port. It's now a beautiful relationship. We actually can get things done. Can you imagine what else we're gonna get accomplished in the city when we work with everybody else? It's wonderful. And to my colleagues, take credit. This is a beautiful place. And you know, for generations to come, we're gonna see lots of people down here. It's really, truly the people place that we said it would become. Thank you so much.
I had the pleasure of going around through this superb park during the past hour, and had explained to me how various components, including the rocks, were integrated with the land here, and I have to say the overall effect is just magnificent. So to the staff, congratulations. Dedicated to human rights is particularly important to me, and a legacy I really value very much. The human rights garden, as I see it, will be used to honor and respect and advocate for rights that have been adopted and put in place in the past. But it will also be, if I can put it this way, a place for verbal combat about what more needs to be done to really fulfill a country committed to all of human rights. Let me first say a word about the past. Many who grew up in this city are aware that the foundation for industrial unions in Canada began here in 1937. The strike of 1937 that established the UAW, that eventually became the CAW and then Unifor, was a defining moment in the history of the city and of the country. And I have always been proud of the fact that workers' rights to organize got their big kickoff here in the city of Oshawa. So, and the human rights that are threatened around the world, the important ones have been and remain workers' rights. They were the rights that were put down in Tiananmen Square in 1989 by an authoritarian Chinese government, and they are the rights that are being challenged today in many parts of the world. So I'm pleased that our community, we should be proud of that, established the right of a union to exist. And I'm pleased to say, by the way, that came together finally with the support of virtually all the parties in the city of Oshawa, including the mayor and council of the time. So it was a struggle that the whole community was involved in, and a community that won. Let me leap ahead now to the future. It's already been made clear that we are sitting here on land that belonged to our indigenous ancestors. And we, in our generation, and frankly, the generation after me, have the struggle ahead of achieving reconciliation with the indigenous peoples, so that one day, again, we'll be able to celebrate the culmination of all the rights, if you like, in the history of Canada. That will take some doing. Reconciliation involves new legal structures, new organization about the rights of property, all of which can and should be negotiated, and will be, in my view, between the people's governments of Canada and the indigenous people. I want to leave it at that. That is important. That's a very important aspect of rights. As I say, that people after me, people who are engaged now in the struggle for the implementation of rights, will finally resolve. And I want to conclude by saying that I deeply appreciate this honor by my hometown. I remember coming down here on my bicycle many decades ago from my home on Central Park South and riding around in this terrain in the wilderness. Now I'd be able to do it on constructed walkways that take you through a wonderful part of the geography of this neighborhood. So thank you to all that were involved, including the mayor, in making this project in my name a possibility. And I conclude by saying thanks, and thanks to the people of Oshawa.